Good morning and welcome to our brand new Miami Beach Chamber of Commerce video talk show in partnership with our friends here at Miami Community Newspapers. This is Business Beyond the Beach. We are so excited to launch this new series. Of course, my name is Brittnie Bassant. I'm the president and CEO of the Miami Beach Chamber of Commerce. And today I am here with none other than our chairman of our board of governors for Miami Beach Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Richard Segal. Rich.
Thank you so much, Britt. I'm really glad to be here and happy to kick it off.
We are so excited to get this started. Okay, so I'm going to dive right in. I mean, Rich is just like such a figurehead in our Miami Beach community. He is a third generation Miami Beach native. So tell me, what makes this community so special to you? How has it influenced your life, both personal and professional, your journey through Miami Beach? Let's talk a little bit about that.
Sure. So as a litigator with RFB, Fisher, Potter, Hodes, and as the chairman of the Miami Beach Chamber of Commerce, Miami Beach is extremely important to me. And the reason why it's important is because my grandparents actually came down to Miami Beach in the 1940s. I call our family the Flamingos. We've been around forever. My parents are actually high school sweethearts that met and lived and grew up on Miami Beach. And my brother and I were born on Miami Beach as well. And now all four of our boys were born on Miami Beach also. So to us, it's not just a matter of loving just the city. It's about building the community for a long time to come because it's that important to us as a family.
That's awesome. And so we talk about the family ties, right? And it's so funny because whenever I talk about the chamber, we talk about the Miami Beach Chamber of Commerce, how it's growing and it's evolving and it's changing and it's new and it's fun and it's fashion, it's vibrant. And I always have to really actually apologize to Rich and say, Rich, it's not your grandfather's Chamber of Commerce anymore because your grandfather was involved with the Chamber of Commerce. So tell me about your family connection and that legacy with the chamber.
Sure. It's almost one of those stories where you wouldn't believe it, but it's actually true. So one of the first times that I was invited into the boardroom at the Miami Beach Chamber of Commerce, I'm young in my career, young in my civic advocacy on Miami Beach, and in particular, don't really know so much about what I'm doing within the Chamber of Commerce, but I know I'm at a board meeting and that's pretty important. I'm looking around and I'm saying, wow, this is a good room of people. And I read up on the left-hand corner of our boardroom, there's about 50 to 100 people there, and it says lifetime honorees and thank you for going ahead and assisting and paying off the mortgage for our building. And I just am reading, and there's some names I recognize, and then sure enough, it says Harold J. Segal. Well, that happens to be my grandfather. At that time, he was long past, but it was that moment where I really felt more connected than ever to the Chamber of Commerce, and I knew that I certainly was going to give myself to that organization, and it definitely brings me pride to be the chairman now.
Do you want to talk about a recent full circle moment with that? Because you noticed that your grandfather's name was on the wall for having paid off the mortgage for the building. I mean, that was, decades ago, but we recently had a full circle moment under your chairmanship.
Sure, and I appreciate that, Britt. So when I referred to the paying off of the mortgage, I was actually for an older building for the Miami Beach Chamber of Commerce. The current building that we're in now, which is near the City Hall in Miami Beach and really in the heart of Miami Beach, that building had a mortgage for a very long time, and I have to appreciate and give recognition to all of the prior chairs that assisted in helping pay down the mortgage year over year. But it's really a great moment for me and you, Britt, to be able to say that this year we've paid off our mortgage completely in full, and so we will have that building free and clear. And that's an important moment for the Chamber of Commerce to know we have a place and a home in Miami Beach for as long as we want it to be.
And under your chairmanship, and that's, I think, very, very, very special. And so going back to the legacy and going back to the family ties, I know you saw your grandfather's name up on the wall, but what really, I'm sure that was part of it, but not all of it. What really inspired you to be in that boardroom that day and then to take on leadership roles in the chamber? And now that you've been chairman, sort of talk about what some of the rewarding experiences that you've had in almost 2 years that you've had that role.
Sure. So civic leadership runs in my family. And while I mentioned my grandfather, Harold Segal, in relation to the Chamber of Commerce, he also was actively involved in starting the foundation at Mount Sinai and helping with going ahead and raising funds very early on in the Miami Beach days. But also, I'd be remiss not to mention my grandfather, Jim Levinson. He was a civic leader and also at the head of the Elks Lodges back in the day, for those that remember that. And then, of course, my mother, all growing up, she's still, as we speak right now, advocating for children and education. And my brother and I have been out of public school for quite some time. but she was the PTA president for all of Florida. She was the PTA president, obviously, always in all of our schools while we were growing up. And it was watching my mother be so passionate about community that made me realize I equally wanted to do that type of involvement, not just in being a litigator, but also giving back to our community.
So I love to joke around that Rich is chairman of the chamber. It's not a joke. He is. He is the chairman of the board of governors for the chamber. But the joke is that in his free time, he's also a very successful litigator. And you're very, very, very busy a lot. And so when you're that busy, what's one of your favorite ways to just sort of unwind and relax after you're done, chairing the chamber and then we're doing a little bit of law in your free time?
So to me, there's nothing better than going ahead and unwinding on a boat in Miami Beach. It's a privilege to be able to go boating anywhere. It's an absolute privilege to be able to go boating on Miami Beach. And I always tell people as much as I can, if you can see Miami Beach from the water side, it makes you take a step back and realize how blessed and lucky we are to actually live, work, and play in a community that many, many people around the world want a vacation in.
Right. We live where you vacation, and boating in Miami Beach is just quintessential. It is just the absolute core and captures the essence of the city so much. So I can imagine that that's a lot of fun. And one of these days, I'll be cool enough to get out on that boat.
Whenever you want to. When you
we have it on record. Yes. Okay, so we got to talk a little bit about what you actually do for a living. I mean, I know being the chairman of the chamber is a full-time job, and we are so grateful and appreciate the work that you put in. But let's talk a little bit about you being a very successful litigator and why, what made you go down that career path?
Sure. So when I was in second grade, and I know that goes, unfortunately a few decades back at this point, but it's one of those moments in life where something is different and you might be blessed and have something that you should pursue. There was something called the Tropicana 4-H speaking contest, and
Tropicana, like the juice?
Yeah, it started off that way.
Okay.
And it was sponsored by Tropicana. And so what you would do is, in front of your class of, let's say, 30 people, you'd have to give a 30-second speech. I gave a speech on Michael Jordan. He was the coolest athlete at that time. But it's not the content, and don't judge me that there wasn't so much substance behind it for my first sort of legal argument in front of the class. But what I realized very quickly is I enjoyed and I thrived being in front of people. It didn't bother me. I wasn't stressed. I wasn't nervous. And I didn't know that that was something different until I watched my classmates, many of which who wouldn't even make it up to the front of the class because they were so nervous. And at that time period, I realized, okay, this doesn't bother me. I enjoy this. And then actually, like, the accolades started coming I started giving speeches, and then the Tropicana 4-H speaking contest is in sixth grade also. And I won for my class. I won for the school. Then I won for Miami-Dade County, and I happened to win all the way through all of Florida and got a trophy that was bigger than me at the time.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, okay, there's something to be done here. And that's when I realized, if you can use that skill and become a lawyer, a litigator, stand up in front of judges, juries, etc., like, that may be a way in a career path. And it was something I was lucky enough to recognize early, and still to this day, I enjoy every moment because of it.
That's such a great story. I don't think I knew that. I don't think I knew about the whole like Tropicana 4-H and the speaking early in your childhood. And now I want those pictures.
My name is still up in my elementary school, and I take pride on that.
We have to figure out a way to get like pictures of Rich with that trophy and do something with it, because I think that's going to be a lot of fun. So Rich and I have a really interesting journey together with the chamber. We both started. Okay, we didn't both start at the same time, but when I took over as president and CEO, that's exactly the moment that you took over as chairman of the board. And so we've been on this journey together for almost 2 years now, which is the term of a chairmanship. And during your term during your term as chairman of the chamber, it is very safe to say that the organization has just evolved and changed completely. I mean, there's a transition of a new CEO, lots of new ideas. We're both young. I always love to tell everyone that I love working with Rich because he's a visionary and he sees the future of the chamber and what it could be and the potential and how we need to really leverage that for the betterment of our community. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about how the chamber has really evolved throughout your chairmanship, some of the changes that have been implemented, talk about the impact that it's having, not just on the community and the city, but on our membership as well. Like, let's just go full chamber dive.
Well, first off, I should take Brittnie with me everywhere I go because you are the best presser in commercial I could ever have. So if I have a big client, I'm going to bring Brittnie. And if she's there, it's because it's important I'm trying to
There we
close.
go.
But in all seriousness, first off, thank you. It's really kind words. The feeling's mutual. But the few moments that I can look back at in the initiatives as the chairman of the chamber and say, Brittnie and I had a vision, and where has that vision gone in nearly almost 2 years, and has it been successful in certain ways? And there's definitely a few where I go, okay, we had the vision, we executed, and now we can see sort of the fruits of our labor and the trees starting to grow. And one of them is definitely our board meetings. As you know, once a month we have a board meeting. Our board meeting that I chair is 75-person board. That's a big board. But because of COVID and sort of then as time went by, it became easier to have the board meetings hybrid or via Zoom. There was a waned in-person interest. There was plenty of interest and plenty of people showing up via Zoom, but I didn't feel the vibrancy of networking that you feel when you have a room of 75 really powerful professionals sitting around a boardroom. So you and I came up with the concept of no Zoom, get everyone back in, and we, for a little while, had pushback.
It was a hard line.
If you can envision ripping a Band-Aid off, like we ripped it quick and we knew it was going to be a little bit of problem and there'd be a wound. But I think at this point, the wound is completely sewed up and everyone has recognized that that was sort of a visionary moment because our board meetings now are packed. And not only are they packed with our board members, but people are coming to us in the community to want to speak to the board as to the next development, the next initiative going in front of the commission. Those are all beautiful things. And then in particular, who's on the board, right? And you and I also had the concept of a chamber of commerce should not operate in a silo. It should operate with many other organizations, many other facets of the community. And if you do that, you can watch community building being done at its best. And so I give you credit. You've had a relationship with Commissioner Fernandez for a long time, and we're able to bring him onto our board. And I think that has helped tremendously with transparency between government and the Chamber of Commerce. And then, of course, Chief Wayne Jones. I mean, talk about a rock star. Chief Wayne Jones sits on our board. And, spring break's a prime example. Like, he'll come and talk to us about what the police force is about to do throughout all of March. It's that type of availability and access that you can't pay for and you can't go ahead and get anywhere else. And ultimately, that's what I think the Chamber of Commerce is really growing into, and I'm proud of.
That's absolutely incredible. And it's true. We talk nonstop about collaboration. We talk nonstop about how do we work together for the betterment of our community and for the betterment of our city. And I think you really exemplify that, and that trickles down. Your leadership
we
trickles down throughout the entire board. And so I am very privileged to work alongside you in that endeavor. And so for the past couple of months, Rich and I have just been like, there's just one word that we cannot seem to escape, but it's exciting and it's fun. And we're so thrilled to be able to talk about it. And that word is our gala. And it is back. It had a short hiatus because, again, we went through a little bit of transition with the new president and CEO, but it is back. It is the 99th annual awards dinner and gala, but I call it the Miami Beach Ball. It is on the cusp of our centennial. We're going to use it to springboard into our 100th gala. And so, Rich, let's talk about the gala because it's so exciting.
So I love a good party. And I have no problem saying this isn't your ordinary gala. This is a gala, or as Britt says, a ball on Miami Beach, and it has to have a little bit of a party component to it. So it's from sand to sparkle, and the reason why it is that way is because we will start off sort of walking through the different elements of Miami Beach, and hopefully, here's a couple quick secrets to hopefully get you to come and more. We have about 600 people. Let's go for 700 people. But at the beginning, we'll start with some culinary adventures and we'll travel through the different elements of Miami Beach, but then we'll finish in sparkle because any good gala or any good ball has to have a good band, has to have a party component, and has to have an enjoyment. And so for Brittnie and I would be remiss not to say Robin Jacobs
Absolutely.
and Rich Petoskey as co-chairs of our gala as well. We really are looking to have a gala that ultimately Miami Beach takes a step back and says, yes, it's the Miami Beach Chamber of Commerce Gala, but more importantly, it's a night, it's an event to bring all of Miami Beach and more across the water back into Miami Beach to celebrate everything that we have.
Celebrate our successes and look forward to the future together and how we can work better together. And it's going to be an incredible, spectacular night. So we encourage you to join us for that. We'll link information. We'll give you ways to get involved. Absolutely. We're gonna just a couple more questions, but
Sure.
so the city. Let's get back to talking about Miami Beach. We've talked a lot about the chamber. Let's talk about the city a little bit. The city is evolving constantly. I mean, Miami Beach is such a dynamic place. So what's one change that you would like to see happen primarily in our business landscape over the next 5 years as our city continues to evolve?
Yeah. So Miami Beach has always evolved, and that's the beautiful thing of it. If you look back at various different decades of Miami Beach, it reinvents itself. And I think we're going through a moment right now where we're going to have super high-end hotels coming on board in the very near future. We have high-end Class A culinary all over Miami Beach, Michelin star worthy. But the question becomes like, how do we connect all of this together? And I think where Miami Beach really goes ahead and blasts off, and I anticipate this happening over the next couple of years, is creating the connectivity, creating the walkability from what will be, for example, our convention center hotel through Lincoln Road to Washington Avenue to Collins through to Ocean Drive. So that south of 5th connects to Mid Beach. So that Mid Beach connects to North Beach. When you can start creating that connectivity, I believe that's when you get a walkability factor, in every business from mom and pop all the way up to the highest level really will benefit from that. So I'm really looking forward to the master plan and the connectivity component, so that you have activations that allow people to continue to walk and want to go from sort of one part of Miami Beach to the other.
Absolutely. I think that's what makes a great city, right? Is being able to have that mobility, those mobility initiatives, and being able to bring people together in that organic way. Um, okay, so we have just one or two more questions, but one of my favorite questions that I want to ask you is, again, like I said, Rich started in his chairmanship of the chamber a little over a year and a half ago. It's almost coming up on 2 years in the end of
Flies.
yes, September will make it 2 years that he's been chair of our chamber. He's done an incredible job leading the organization. But what's one, looking back, because we get to do a lot of fun stuff. Like, we've done some really fun stuff together. But looking back, and it might be hard to pick that most memorable moment as chairman.
So Britt and I have done everything and anything together. I mean, we've shot commercials together. We've been on Pride Parade floats together. We've been in every restaurant and any type of business, and knocked on every type of door to go ahead and get more membership. And, that has been such an amazing moment of sort of just traveling through Miami Beach in these moments with you. And Britt doesn't know I'm going to say this, and this part is not by any means like, oh, Brittany wrote this for me, but I mean it and it's sincere, and you all should really understand this. The best part of my chairmanship by far is something that happened before even Brittany came on board, which was I helped spearhead a national search for who was going to be the next president and CEO and fill the big shoes of Jerry Libin. And as we went through the process, I had no idea who this was going to be, but I knew who the president and CEO was going to be, was someone I was going to be working with immediately for my chairmanship and for 2 years as I progressed through the chairmanship. And I couldn't have been any more excited, and for that matter, giddy, as we went through the process. And I realized that there was Brittnie Bassant out there, and I was her strongest advocate at that moment. And I will be your strongest advocate for many, many years and decades to come. The reality is Brittany has transformed our chamber, and over the next 2 years, the next 10 years, hopefully, she is going to take Miami Beach and the Chamber of Commerce to a stratosphere. I always say Brittany's the rocket, and I'm just blessed to hang
Oh
on.
my goodness. Okay, so I'm going to have to hold it together right now, because that's I did not know, because we did review some of these things beforehand, but that was one that we did not. So thank you, Rich. And of course, the feeling is mutual. It's been an absolute pleasure and honor working with you for the past almost
We're
2
not done
years
yet.
now as chairman. And it's going to be weird to switch that and work with someone else. But once you're part of the chamber family, you're part of the chamber family for life. So I know that we're going to be working very, very, very closely together in the future as well. So on that note, if you can go back, right, and talk to, and it's so funny because whenever I talk to anyone that's been a part of Rich's life for like a long, long, long time, they always refer to him as Richie. So if you can go back and talk to little Richie, and give him a piece of advice, what would you tell him?
Sure. And little Richie will take this advice well. There's a lot of moments in life, and I'm even today happens to be take your child to work day. And I have my son Spencer sitting in the room, and it's a blessing. It's a blessing to be able to go ahead and enjoy for many generations to come and to watch children grow up. But what I would tell my younger self and what I tell my children is to truly enjoy the family moments. And what I mean by that is I grew up in and around Miami Beach. My grandparents were on right off of 41st Street in Meridian. And I'd wish I could soak in a couple more minutes with both my grandparents on each side, whether or not I was going to Arnie and Richie's, which happens to now be Roasters and Toasters, or going to Joe's in the back room, or what was the Forge at the time, and having a really, really nice intimate dinner at the Forge. Or for that matter, China Grill, which is a little bit more recent, where my wife, Shawnee, got to meet my parents at China Grill, and my brother had his 40th birthday there. It's those moments in life that you can't get back. And so what I would tell young little Richie is to enjoy all the moments with the family, because it flies by. And more importantly, it's when you're at like a Cafe Avante on Miami Beach that you enjoy the family and the friends the most. So be present and enjoy it.
Be present and soak in those moments. Speaking of being present, and I don't know if Richard's going to allow this, but like he said, Spencer's in the studio. He's behind the camera right now, but when he mentioned Spencer, he waved and I laughed. So if Spencer wants to come around, very carefully so we don't unplug anything. But we'll let Spencer wave a little bit. It is Take Your Son to Work Day, or Take Your Child to Work Day. Yeah. So he's on camera. There's
future chairman.
There's the future chairman of the Miami Beach Chamber of Commerce, and it's so important to be present, to soak in these moments, to really enjoy it. This is going to become a memory for you, Spencer, that I hope that you carry with you when you are one day sitting in that seat being interviewed in the near future by the next president and CEO of the Miami Beach Chamber of Commerce.
Still be doing it. We're not letting go. We're not letting go for a long, long time.
All right, guys. Well, this has been, I think, an incredible, great first kickoff show, Business Beyond the Beach. It's our brand new Miami Beach Chamber of Commerce talk show in partnership with our friends here at Miami Community Newspapers. We are so thrilled to be doing this. We invite you to join us, reach out, connect with us. We'll link it all in our video. And you guys stay tuned for another episode very soon.
Thank you so much for having me.